Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome. Michael here, Deeper States Mind and Wellness. I've been a life coach for 25 years and I started my business, and we're going to talk about a little bit about that today. Did you guys see the Oscars last night? Wow, 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 wow. So you put so much time into your career and you do so much good, and then a moment can take it away just like that. So, anyway, I'd like to talk a little bit about kind of who I am and why I'm here, and what my intention is with this group, because I know we've been getting a lot of people coming in on the replays, and hopefully we can grow this into a just a little bit bigger type of avenue so we can help you guys out. Let me get these off so I can see you a little bit better. There we go. So good. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So let's talk a little bit about what's happening with business. And as we can see, a lot of people are not going back to work, and some people are going back to work and they're being treated much better. I know that in the past I have done shows about hypnosis and NLP because that is my profession and that is my practice. Being a life coach and a business coach, that started probably 5 or 6 years ago. When I first started doing business out of a physical office, and had an extra office where I was doing coaching with hypnosis clients. Because a lot of business is mindset. So if your mindset is not in the place to bring in business, or to go through the conform of what it takes to do business, then it doesn't really, you get stuck and you'll fail. So a lot of people think it's really easy to just, get started, right? You hear people say, oh, just, if you're so good at what you do, go, you're so good at making donuts, go open up a donut shop and start selling donuts. You'll do great. You'll do a great job. Problem with that is that there's a lot more aspects that have to go into business, and it's just, a concept is great, but the concept cannot be everything you're doing. So let's talk a little bit about my past with my company. So I was working for Delta Airlines for 16 and a half years prior to coming into doing hypnosis full time. My mother passed away in 1996, and 98, 99, I started kind of questioning what I was doing working for an airline. As long as I had been, it had been, quite a while. But I knew I needed something else. I needed something to fulfill my time and my space, and for me to get knowledge and to feel more a part of. So the interesting thing is that I loved my job. I loved flying for Delta Airlines. It was a great opportunity. I saw the world in a very short amount of time, but I needed something else. I needed something more. And you might be really good at making donuts, but you might not be good at doing the books for donuts, or knowing how much flour it takes to make 16,000 donuts a month, as opposed to doing 10 donuts or 20 donuts at home and then giving them out to your friends and saying, oh, you're doing a great job, you should come in and do your own business. And I'm not trying to discourage anyone. What I am trying to do is give a reality of what it takes and what the effort is. So when I was working for the airline industry, I had decided that I wanted to do something else, which was hypnotherapy and NLP. Not because I had always desired to do that, because that's the thing, is that it was not something that just happened for me. I fell into it in a way. And I just knew it was something that had to happen for me. My mom passed away, and then I did not know. I was pretty lost and confused and didn't know what I wanted. I knew I wasn't satisfied. So then I started thinking, well, what can I do? How can I give back? What's the opportunity now for me to start doing something that I would enjoy, but also make a change in the world? So that's how that all started. And I can remember all the way back where the business name was a big thing, right? I mean, it used to be called Deeper States Hypnotherapy. I remember going to work and having all the airline personnel, I had a list of 25, I think, names, and I went through and, they checked what they thought was best. And at the end of it, it was Deeper States Hypnotherapy. As years went on, I found that, hypnotherapy is kind of scary to some people at the time, especially back, we're talking 25 years ago. It was not mainstream like it is now. And people were afraid of it. So I put my head together and I thought, okay, I got to figure something out. And I started making soap 10 years ago. So that added another avenue to it. So about 10 years ago, I changed our company name to Deeper States Mind and Wellness. Mind being the hypnotherapy and the NLP, and the wellness side being the lotions, the soaps, the bath products that people can get some kind of connection, relaxation, right? Because they go hand in hand, whole mind, whole body, whole spirit, right? So it's important that you have a basis or an understanding of what it is you want to do. First of all, you might be really, really good at something, and if you're looking to take what you're really, really good and take that opportunity and turn it into a business, there's some steps you need to follow, and I'm going to give you those steps today. And if you stay tuned to the end of this show, you'll get those steps. Otherwise, you'll be watching the replay and hopefully following through then. But those of you who are watching the replay, I'm not discouraging you to stop watching now. I'm encouraging you to go to the end of the video. So it's really, really important for us to understand that when it comes into starting a business, there's a lot of things that go into play. More than just finding the business name, and more than just finding a product that you can make a little bit of, right? Because when you, for instance, Whole Foods came to me with my soap products and wanted me to start to carry my products in Whole Foods. Thing is that my passion was, as my passion still is, as being a therapist. That's what I do for a living. So it was overwhelming to me when they wanted me to get a warehouse, they wanted me to get crew, they wanted me to start getting employees, they wanted me to start building this business. And I had done it just as being an adjunct to my company. More passive income, right? And we'll talk a little bit about that when you go into one of our workshops. But passive income is very, very important. But you got to also know where your passion is and what it is that you're very, very good at, right? I become good at making lotions and candles and everything else, but it's taken years, 10 years, at least 10 years to start getting to where I could say, oh my God, that's a great bar of soap. Oh my God, that's such an excellent candle. It's burning. It took me a year to get the candles burning properly. All through the pandemic, I was testing and trying. So the interesting thing is scaling is very, very crucial. You'll be able to function for a while as a small business owner and possibly doing it by yourself. Just keep in mind that, and I'm going to say this to all of you out there that can hear my voice, because a lot of times I've had other business people when I first started saying, oh, don't worry about insurance. Don't worry about getting a business license. Don't worry about, just do your trade, right? It works for a while. But eventually what happens is you'll start building clientele, and that clientele expects some certain things. They expect to be able to know that you have a business license, right? There comes some comfort with knowing that somebody's practicing or making donuts with a license, or making donuts with a business license, right? Or at least meeting inspections on their properties. So let's say you start a home business and you're making donuts at home. I have a good friend of mine who quit her corporate job and is now doing cookies at home, and it's great. It's awesome. The thing is that she's having growing pains, and you become not just an employee, right? You become an owner. You have to take ownership of the business. And now that opens up a whole different thing. I mean, you're not just clocking in 9 to 5. And I'm going to tell you, if you clock in 9 to 5, you're going to fail. There will not be any success. You'll be wondering what happened to you, and why are you losing your home? Why are you losing your car? Why are you losing why are you sitting in the bathroom crying because you can't get something to happen, right? And there's been moments like that for me during the housing crisis that happened. And it's I borrowed money from a friend to be able to reallocate myself, and then later on refinance my home to bring myself back into a profitable level again. So you'll have those moments, even if you do grind 9 to 5 as a 9 to 5 employee. You will only get so far, and then you'll hit a wall. So it's really important to know that, sometimes it's not going to be 9 to 5. Some days it might be, less. Some days it's going to be 12 to 2 because you have other shit going on. You have to go in and you have to work on going downtown, getting your business license. Maybe you have to go, look at a new office space. I mean, it's still work, but it's different kind of work. It's not the 9 to 5 grind. And many people do go into business thinking and believing that it's just a 9 to 5 grind, that they're going to wake up in the morning at 9 o'clock, roll on in and just get to business whenever they want to. Being an entrepreneur is hard work. It's something that you need to dedicate yourself to and realize, it's a possibility. And that's one thing I had to come to a realization, was that I would not have medical insurance anymore. When I left the airline industry, I was not going to have, a consistent paycheck, knowing that I was going to have ups and downs for a while. I had to get my product tested and trued, right? I need to know that my product is working and that people are utilizing my product. And I'm going to have to make some changes. Even today, I make some changes. Being a business owner, you're going to have to be able to be patient. And I say that coming from a business owner who started from the ground up. I mean, look, I was working out of an office in Sherman Oaks, and then later was working out of my home, all while flying for the airline, because it was so important to make sure that I had a substantial income for me, and that I could diversify myself, that I could pay for my education, that I could continually pay for my education, that I could get more knowledge, that I could be able to continue learning while I was building and growing this side business, right, which would turn into my practice eventually. So over 25 years, I mean, I think I'm in a place right now where, I mean, I'm fairly well known in the industry, and people do refer clients out to me, and old clients come back when they have trauma or situations in their life that they're working on. But I don't really worry too much about constantly being in touch with them, because I've become a name that they always come back to, and that's something that's really, really important. And I don't think anything does that other than time. You know, if you put time into and energy into what you want, it'll flow that way. You know, where you put your energy is where it comes back. And a lot of people kind of come into this idea that, you know, I just want to start a business. I want to start a business. I don't want to work for the man anymore, right? I don't want to be working for the man anymore. I don't want corporate America politics. And that's great. But my friend that's doing the cookies right now is having a growing issue because she's a single person. I also have another friend who's making shorts at home for people that are 5'9" and under. And it's a great idea, awesome idea, but he's starting to run into production issues, right? Doesn't know how to produce more than a pair of shorts a week. And the orders are coming in. But how do you meet that need? How do you meet that demand? So think about all of this before you even start, right? Just like if you were going to plan when you were going to have a baby. You don't just get married and have a baby. You get married and say, okay, well, what do we need? What's our long-term goals, short-term goals? How do we meet those goals? And build upon that. People make change on two emotions, pain and pleasure. I mean, if you're so painful at your job and it's a corporate job, you might have so much pain that it's time to make a change. But my idea to you would be to make that change carefully, to really put into a plan and work through that plan. So my plan was a 3-year goal, and I started working 3 years prior to coming into Deeper States Mind and Wellness, as it is known now. And as I started working into that 3-year plan, I started deciding, okay, so what should I do? I've always been an entrepreneur. I think that comes from my father. He owned rental properties. He owned a restaurant. He owned a bar. The idea is that sometimes it's in you to push and to build something new. And, you know, I promise that you will succeed as long as you have done your research. You've done your fiscal responsibility, because you have a fiscal responsibility, especially if you have children, if you have a family, or you have a house to support, or you have a car to support. There's got to be a fiscal responsibility. I think it's great to own your own business, but you really need to know that entrepreneurship can be very hard. It's a grind that's not just a 9-to-5 grind. Sometimes it's 14 hours. Sometimes it's 13 hours. I remember coming in sometimes from the airline industry, from a long flight. You know, maybe we had gone Mexico City, Honolulu, back into Los Angeles, a 3-day trip, exhausted. And I remember I'd come in and I'd sleep for 2 or 3 hours, 4 hours, and then get busy doing what I needed to do to start building my business, to start building what I, in 3 years, was going to walk away from, the airline industry, and walk away into a whole new world, a whole new life. And it was not an easy time. There were times where it was pain grueling, and you know, you thought you had something perfectly set up for business and it failed, and you had to like reevaluate it and restructure it and decide, okay, how do I change that? Even the company name, all right? And I'm going to tell you, don't take a lot of time muddling through the stuff that is not viable. That is not, I don't want to say viable, because it's important to have a company name, right? But you can always change it. I mean, you look at software. I mean, comes out 1.0, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, 2.6, until it hits 3.1. And then the evolution of business, evolution of anything takes time. Takes time, effort. So if you're looking at a brick and mortar business, and I'll tell you that's what I was until pandemic hit. If you're looking at a brick and mortar business, it's very, very important for you to understand that you're going to have a lot of overhead. And if you're doing a product-based business, right? If you're opening up a donut shop, you're opening up a bar or restaurant, you don't have a choice. You have to meet those expectations. And I think it's awesome. I mean, the pandemic really taught us businesses that we're going to succeed and that we're going to fail. I'll tell you, notice a lot of these businesses, yes, they got PPP from the government, but they weren't prepared. They weren't being innovating as to what they need to do with their company or to evolve in order to hit a point where they were becoming profitable during an unprofitable time. And, if you look at history, you look all the way back to the first stock market when it crashed. I mean, companies made money. People made money. Go back to bootlegging. Bootlegging was illegal, but people made money, right? And I'm not saying do illegal business because I'm sure you're going to be profitable, but the idea is that you make sure that you're diversified enough to be able to handle handle the changes in the company, and be resilient. And it takes certain people to be able to run a business. And I know right now everybody's jumping on that business bandwagon. I'm doing coaching with clients right now that, I mean, I'm telling them, you need to get a job. You've got to get a job. I mean, you can't live in your house. You can't live in your car. Leave your parents' home, live in your car, and think you're going to do it. You can do it for a while. I mean, and it's going to get very, very difficult, very hard, very quick. When I left the airline industry, I had told myself, if this didn't work, I was okay. I was okay losing my house. I was okay losing my car. I was okay living under a bridge for a while if I had to do that. And it got very close. I'll be very honest with you. It did get very close. And the idea of that is to understand that, that not having made me even stronger. It made me understand that because I was starting to lose things, right? I was starting to not be in the position I wanted to be in. I started understanding that I had to push harder. I had to get my mindset to be more in a place where I was going to go after what I wanted. And there cannot be a how should I word it? There can't be a position of failure in your mind, because if you think you're going to fail or you're not resilient enough to continue your business, you will have such a low that you're going to have to go back to 9 to 5, whether you like it or not. And a lot goes into being a business owner. So if I could give you some advice right now, I would say be resilient, be strong. Know that there are ups and downs. Make a roadmap. Create even a vision board. But have a roadmap for that first year that you understand that, okay, this is what I want. This is what I'm requiring for the universe to give me. And put things in place. I like to always, whenever I teach classes that are live, I always tell my participants, I say, look, without action, there's no reaction, right? So if you think that you're going to work 9 to 5 as a business owner and sit on the couch and hope that something's going to happen, you're very wrong. You're very, very wrong. I mean, you have to put action in to get a reaction, and failure happens. One thing I'll tell you as a business owner, and I can leave you with this, is that, don't do your best not to sit there and wallow in the loss or wallow in your failure, because you will get stuck in that. Acknowledge it. Learn what you've learned from it and prepare to move forward with it. Prepare to do what's different than what you did the moment ago. Otherwise, you get the same effect, right? The same result. Go out there. Attempt it. Do it. Be successful. A lot of times people that work from home while they are working do the best. Because, you can hit a point where you can say, okay, I'm done. I have enough of my coffers to sustain my company for 1 year. I can walk away. And maybe we're working on a shoestring budget. Maybe you do open a donut shop. You don't have enough money to hire one person. Well, you're going to be working much more than 9 to 5, right? But the thing is that, you may be the one to go in at 4 a.m. to start those donuts. But know that that's not going to be long term, as long as you properly put yourself in the position for that not to be long term. Passive income. I'd love to talk about passive income, and we're not going to have enough time to do that today because I want to keep these at 30 minutes each. But if you'd like to know more about this, DM me, because I am going to be starting a private Facebook group where we could just talk about business. We can talk about what would it be like to start passive income. I have a young man that I'd love to bring on the show, and once we start that private group. So he is 25 and he already owns, I think, 2 or 3 homes, rental properties. I'd love to interview him. Let's talk about how he started, how he got there, what he did. I mean, it's very interesting how people have a concept, but not a roadmap to get there. And a lot of business owners do that. And sometimes they've been in business for 2 or 3 years and they become complacent. You know, they say that if a business is resilient enough to last 5 years, it's successful. It'll continue being a business. And I think that's very true. I think those first probably 3 years are really, really unstable. You just don't know what's happening. You don't have the knowledge or the understanding. And one thing I'll leave you with is, as a business owner, ask questions. People are willing to help you, but you have to ask. My gosh, I mean, I've made some mistakes. And if other people have made those mistakes and I had asked those people to help, I think it would have been very clear that I wouldn't have done some things I did. Right? I remember using a picture that was on the website, and I trusted the web designer to just create that picture, and I never followed up to see where these things had come from. Nothing, right? I just had a great website. And I come to find out that that picture had been a Getty image picture, and because the web crawlers found it, they sued me. They were suing me for like $10,000 or $11,000. And I think we got them down to like $3,000 at some point. But it was pretty traumatic and pretty crazy because I was not at a place where I could just throw that kind of money at something and hope that it would go away. So keep in mind that that is going to be some of the hurdles you're going to have to do. You know, it's due diligence, right? I mean, at the end, you're responsible for everything you do. I mean, and business is very, very much like that. You are responsible for everything that you put out there. And I don't, to this day, don't produce product that I have that I believe is questionable, because I just don't want that. I don't need that. I don't need the trauma or the difficulty it comes with stuff. I know there's people out there, you know, doing ashwasha, however you say that, practices, and they're doing that with live clients. And you know, here in the United States, the thing is, it's all undercover. And what happens if something happens? What happens if something major goes wrong? You know, we look at James Arthur Ray, you know, awesome therapist. I mean, awesome coach. And he had an accident happen. It wasn't his fault. He ended up clearing his name and he's back in practice. But, you know, do your due diligence, follow through and see what's happening with your business all the time. Be in touch with it. Know that you have to be able to question things and work through things and understand things and be on top of it. So my advice to you before I leave you is that, 1, do your due diligence. Be patient. Know that you're working way more than 9 to 5. Just because you have a product that's, you know, small and works at home, figure out how you're going to grow it before you do it. Figure out how you're going to scale yourself before you actually go out to the business world and start, you know, trying to take it to the masses. Marketing. Either learn a lot about marketing and start to learn how to do it, stick yourself in there, start figuring out how Facebook, Instagram works. I mean, I started the Google AdWords, which was in its infancy at the time. And it made good money. It was bringing in clients like crazy because I learned it and it was new. With that being said, one thing I learned is that, you know, the internet's changing daily. So if that's the way you're going to go, the route you're going to market, learn it, understand it. And as you start getting to a point where you are making good money and you are feeling like you're just spun, like you can't do a lot more yourself, hire out. So when you don't know what to do, hire a professional. Coaches, hire yourself a coach. Bring somebody in that's going to coach you. And look for somebody who's more successful than you are, because you don't want to bring somebody in who's struggling like you are. If you're struggling, you're having a difficult time and it's new to you, you need somebody who's already there, somebody who's been there, done that, and pay them. You know, pay a coach. Don't be afraid to not hire a coach, not hire a mentor, because you need a mentor to teach you how to do the things they've already done that worked and did not work. I'm gonna leave you with that. So think about what I've said today and go out there, live your dreams, but plan them. Action causes reactions, right? Might not be the reaction you want, but actions cause reaction, and they always do. And you're not going to know until you go out there and you try it. Rather you try and fail than go out there and succeed every single time, because otherwise there's no learning experience. All right, I want to thank everybody for your time today, and this will go into one of our archives where we'll be able to use this as a training tool, as a coaching tool, and we'll add more onto this. And just know, your dreams are waiting for you, and don't be afraid to go out there and work for them and try and build and fail. Go out there and fail once or twice and succeed 10 or 15 times. I highly recommend that if you're not happy at your job and you're miserable, look at other avenues. Corporate jobs are difficult to come by, but they're also corporate jobs are jobs that will keep you in that office 9 to 5 every day until you turn 65. You wake up and you realize, oh my God, what the hell happened to the rest of my life? It's over, it's done, and I have a retirement that I'm still, I'm living somewhat comfortably. But don't just survive. I want you to thrive. Go out there and utilize the knowledge and the understanding that you have potential. You hold yourself by what you believe you can and can't do. Anyway, thank you guys so much. Michael Elmers here, Deeper States Mind and Wellness, and I'm a life coach, a hypnotist, and a neurolinguistic programmer. Join me every Monday for short talks like this, and then DM me. We'll get you into our group, and we're starting a Facebook group that'll be private where you guys can come in, and hopefully we can all work with each other and we can build and grow and get our businesses growing together, right? I don't know it all. I'm not in a position where I can say, oh my gosh, I'm just making 50 and 60,000 a month and I'm not having to work. That's absolutely not true. You will work hard, but I'm happier than I've ever been. I help people consistently change their lives, and I love what I do. And I really, from my heart, I will tell you that if I don't love what I do, I won't do it anymore. Thank you guys. I appreciate your time. I know time is of value, and those of you who are watching the replay, like this and share it, and let's build this community. And I will hopefully get this private page set up so we can do full-on classes and workshops in there soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
I think these videos are brilliant, and I'm sure you will like them too. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to click the notification bell.